it's all about, Manny. Lately I'm feeling the same way, reminiscing back to the days when we play in the fields and the trees. I used to ride a big wheel. Now my focus seems to always be the way that they steal every little piece of something that we all work to build. Truth is the only weapon I continue to wield. Sword and the shield, I will never yield to the oncoming traffic. I face life head on. The collision is the destiny I chose. A consequence when you staying down with all 10 toes. Deeply rooted, so I simply watch them all sway to and fro. Watch them all switch up by the day. Puppet politicians controlled through blackmail. Ironic, they still manipulate the blackmail. Modus operandi, beast licking chops to taste. Never let a crisis go to waste. Create the chaos and the reaction is chained. They move the chess pieces, they play the long game. But thank God for giving back the blind that they sight. For what is done in darkness will surely come to light. I'm right, that's why your spirit just jumped. When you heard the word is stirred, your determination to dump the whole system. See the jig is up, so fuck they reset. I want a real re-up. 2020 should have been a symbol for clear vision, but instead you were led into an imagined prison. Self-isolation because you complied. Knew what they were doing, but your courage still died. Peace never came. Every day the narrative changes. You held men as idols while they put you in cages. Weaponized fear had you paralyzed, while images on the screen had you mesmerized. No surprise to me when I saw the bait and switch, trading common sense for a steady dose of brain rinse. Wash, spit, put it out to dry. You lie, that's why I had to quote RBX. Mass stupidity got my whole soul vexed. Script reads like a movie, look what's coming next. More double speak from the ministry of truth. Ink sock, coming to a town near you. Support the party on the oceanic front or face cancellation. What a clever stunt. I feel like O'Shea Jackson in a beanie with a scowl while my own turn on me, cause I see the game's foul to the owl. Now there ain't no turning back. As I watch the whole facade now begin to crack. It's like the omen he snatched back in God's last laugh. He lies a destroyer, beat this devil's epitaph. For a last generation that will finally see the death of the birth of the nation. Get it good. I knew you would, cause it's cold like your fluid I move. Converge at the crossroad, reconciling the past to pick up the holy. Realize your divine purpose, never again lonely. Walk with the sun, see the Father through the Spirit until all three merge in Godhead. Do you hear it? Sound of one tribe, marching warriors of truth. With the wisdom of old men, bravery of the youth. We cannot be stopped, we cannot be contained. We're taking the ground back from all the profane. Everywhere our feet stand, be some holy ground, world converted. When they hear the holy sound of 1,000 horses and 10,000 more, trampling all the lies from the scarlet whore. From a distant shore to your dwelling's door, we come to make it right. Hear this lion roar, give me some more. I feel the light starting to shine. Re-exposing the evil, it's divine design. Time after time, so get to bring a timeline and be the beginning. Microcosm in the mind, history running and rewind again. Perfect beginning, so glad we coming down to the end.
That has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. The ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or as we were told a few days ago by the President, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people. But they've been a little more explicit in the past, and among themselves, and all of the things I now will quote have appeared in print. For example, they have voices that say the Cold War will end through our acceptance of a not undemocratic socialism. Another voice says the profit motive has become outmoded. It must be replaced by the incentives of the welfare state. Or our traditional system of individual freedom is incapable of solving the complex problems of the 20th century. Senator Fulbright has said at Stanford University that the Constitution is outmoded. He referred to the President as our moral teacher and our leader. And he says he is hobbled in his task by the restrictions of power imposed on him by this antiquated document. He must be freed so that he can do for us what he knows is best. And Senator Clark of Pennsylvania, another articulate spokesman, defines liberalism as meeting the material needs of the masses through the full power of centralized government. Well, I for one resent it when a representative of the people refers to you and me, the free men and women of this country, as the masses. This is a term we haven't applied to ourselves in America. But beyond that, the full power of centralized government, this was the very thing the Founding Fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. They also knew, those Founding Fathers, that outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing as well or as economically as the private sector of the economy. No government ever voluntarily reduces itself in size, so government programs once launched never disappear. Actually, a government bureau is the nearest thing to eternal life we'll ever see on this earth. These proliferating bureaus with their thousands of regulations have cost us many of our constitutional safeguards. How many of us realize that today federal agents can invade a man's property without a warrant? They can impose a fine without a formal hearing, let alone a trial by jury, and they can seize and sell his property at auction to enforce the payment of that fine. Back in 1936, Mr. Democrat himself, Al Smith, the great American, came before the American people and charged that the leadership of his party was taking the party of Jefferson, Jackson, and Cleveland down the road under the banners of Marx, Lenin, and Stalin. And he walked away from his party and he never returned till the day he died. Because to this day, the leadership of that party has been taking that party, that honorable party, down the road in the image of the Labour Socialist Party of England. Now, it doesn't require expropriation or confiscation of private property or business to impose socialism on a people. What does it mean whether you hold the deed or the title to your business or property if the government holds the power of life and death over that business or property? And such machinery already exists. The government can find some charge to bring against any concern it chooses to prosecute. Every businessman has his own tale of harassment. Somewhere a perversion has taken place. Our natural unalienable rights are now considered to be a dispensation of government. And freedom has never been so fragile, so close to slipping from our grasp as it is at this moment. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope